are listening to the most comprehensive paranormal archive on the internet.
Welcome to Salsido Paranormal. I'm your host, James Salsido, and tonight I'm sharing experiences, true paranormal stories from the web. As always, you can find all episodes of the show along with links to social media and ways to support the show, along with ways to support friends of the show, including Jen, the Arcane Observer, who has her own show, her own channel, I should say, and is the co-host of this show on Saturdays whenever she's able to make it, and other friends as well. And thank you all for being here, listening in. And yeah, let's get back to these experiences here. And thank you all for listening and how you are able to do so. Let me see. This next one here says, I'm a pretty avid hiker and have never encountered anything like this before. I've seen plenty of bears, birds, snakes, and other animals, but this was different. I was visiting a Florida state park called Pontoon Island State Park, and you have to take a ferry over to it. There's a walking trail called the Wet Trail that, okay, I didn't read that right, that runs along the river. If you're planning on going, fair warning, about a mile in, we found 17 rattlesnakes, so be ready for that if snakes aren't your thing. At the end of the trail, they have a Native American shell mound. My friend and I got to the top of this roughly 30 feet mound, and we're looking out over the river when I turned around and saw a face staring at me from behind a log. The features were human, but not fully detailed. The lips and skin were gray, and it had these yellow eyes, not glowing, just yellow. It looked like it was hiding there, watching us. And then it just went poof, gone in a blink. It scared the absolute heck out of me. And let's see, this is a spot. And I've been searching around the internet, looking for similar encounters. Before I even saw it, my friend said he felt like something in the woods was watching us. It was probably one of the most horrifying moments of my life. The way it looked at us felt like we were prey. And that's where that one ends. It's amazing how you have these patterns of, I saw a Bigfoot, I saw a Dogman, I saw a ghost, I saw lights in the woods, I saw a big, like an impossibly large cat or dog. And then you have these sightings where it's just a few details where it's not easy to say any of those things. The writer here doesn't even give a name of exactly what they saw because they probably don't know. Yellow eyes, not glowing, but still yellow. Gray, I guess so, gray lips and skin. The features were human, but not fully detailed, so it's hard to say what that was. And it's amazing when you come across these accounts, because every so often we do come across these accounts where it's not as simple as I saw a Sasquatch, or we saw Dogman, or whatever, werewolf. It's just, I saw these details, these features. That's all I can say, just like this post here. And it just makes me wonder how much is out there, both in, not just in the accepted scientific sense, but in the paranormal or supernatural or anomalous sense. How much is out there that we haven't even we can't even classify yet because there's sightings of these particular entities, beings, are so rare that there's no way to categorize them really. At least not with a name that we would think of. We can think of. And even in some cases, when it comes to Bigfoot or Sasquatch, like let's say with Bigfoot, there's various versions around the world that have slightly different features, even just within the U.S. So it's always amazing to me when I come across these accounts of some people seeing something, but they can't even decide on or figure out in their own minds what they would call it. And that's part of why I like doing this, because it's fascinating to find these accounts of these sightings that are rare, even among other sightings of things that people experience. Now, this one I like here because I've had experience with it, and I'll go into it after. But this one says, oops, let me see here. I lost my spot. And this one says, my cat teleported between two rooms. She's a 6-month-old kitten, right? Very intelligent and sneaky. She was sitting by a chair in my living room. I was talking to her while looking at her. I speak to her casually as if she's a human. And yeah, I can relate to that. And she too was intently looking at me. Just at that moment, I left the living room and walked through a hallway that leads to my room. And when I reached my room's door, I saw my kitten was already there. She walked up to me from inside the room and greeted me at the door, as if she had already been there for a long time before I entered. My jaw was on the floor, and I couldn't believe it. It simply isn't possible that she got to my room from the living room without me spotting her in the hallway. The hallway is straight, narrow, no hiding places. And I walked straight. Okay. So I guess I walked straight through it. It was just about 4 to 5 seconds to reach my room from the living room. I was also looking straight while walking, not busy on my phone or something. And there's no other way to reach my room other than the hallway. So how does this even happen? How? I even pinched myself to check that I wasn't dreaming. I don't smoke or drink. I am never high. This happened when I was in full consciousness. And I have only one cat. That's where that one ends. That one to me is fascinating. Because I've had similar experience, but with an even shorter distance and literally just turning around. So as I've said before, I've had this happen a couple of times. Where basically I was facing my cat, Logan, and I turned around, did not see her move past me, did not see any movement from her as I was turning around, and facing the opposite direction, and she came walking toward me. This is really fascinating when I find these accounts that are similar to what I've experienced with my own cat in this case. And what's amazing is I've found accounts of this with dogs too. It just makes you wonder, is it teleportation or is it some kind of astral projection, a body experience that they have where they appear? Or is it literally, as crazy as this may sound to some people, teleportation? And again, this is not the first account of this I've found. I've had experiences myself. I don't know what happens here, but it's really fascinating. And this whole idea of animals, and you do hear that in rare cases with people too, but a lot of times people don't know how it happened. Uh, but it seems like with animals, they're not surprised that it's not the same as with people when it happens. Anyway, really fascinating experience, and I'm always amazed when I find similar experiences over and over again um, online. Moving on to the next one here. This one says, "This is really, really weird, and I don't know what's going on. If anyone may be able to provide some insight, that would be awesome. And thank you in advance. My parents are both deceased. My dad's been gone for 10 years this year, and my mom died a little over a year ago. I often have really vivid dreams, always have. And after my mom passed, I moved back into my childhood home with my boyfriend, male 25 years old. We'll call him N. I'm female, 25 years old. To give it a fresh coat of paint and a little love before we sold it. Since we moved back, I've kept having super vivid dreams, but now it's mostly featuring my parents. I've had dreams about my dad for the last 10 years, and it's fine. He usually comes running up to me with a big smile, and we sit and talk and catch up. With my mom, though, it's different. She always has her back to me in these dreams. And while my dad would be walking toward me, she would be walking away from me. I don't really need to get into the psychology behind that. The dreams are the weird part. The point is, I never see her face in my dreams. Anyway, this is the weird part. My mom passed in the house, and I thought she might still be hanging around, but now I don't think it's my mom anymore. I'd see weird glimpses of something moving around a corner, or I see her walk around the corner in the kitchen, but always with her back to me. But it was definitely her. She had always dyed her hair jet black, and was around 5 feet 8 inches and thin, and that is what I've been seeing. A tall, thin lady with her jet black hair. But I've never seen her face. Yesterday, Ed and I were talking about it because he's seen weird stuff that here too. Heard footsteps at night with me and other things. So it's not weird to bring it up. He mentioned he's seen my mom twice in the last 3 days. Okay, cool, not weird. Then he told me she had no face. She apparently poked her head around the corner and looked right at him. But instead of her face, it was her hair and just smooth white, where her face should be, twice. And that's when I realized I have never seen her face either. I guess in mean dreams, obviously. Now I'm thinking that it might not actually be my mom, whatever is hanging out here. Does anyone have any experience with this or any ideas as to what it could be if it's not her? For reference, neither of us are on any medications or have any sort of history with any disorders. And we both separately seen and heard things going on. He's been my best friend for almost 18 years. So there's no reason for him to lie or gaslight me about it. He'd straight up tell me I was crazy if he didn't believe me. Carbon monoxide detectors are working fine. That was the first thing. That's the spot. I checked. Okay. My dog will respond to it too. He'll lift his head up or perk his ears and look as well. So that's where that one ends. There's a lot there. Sounds like a lot of activity. It's, I would say, as always with these cases, if anyone is having a similar experience, or even to this person, if somehow they ever hear the show, go with what you feel or what you sense, but also always know that you could be wrong. That's the way I look at all things paranormal, myself and my own experiences, and also just in general. It's impossible for me to say that it is or is not the mom. It's these things that are happening. I can see how they'd be unsettling, but it's also not like it's a direct attack of any kind or a confrontation. I'm wondering about the sort of the cultural religious background of the family. If maybe the mom doesn't think she should be seen by their daughter and the boyfriend, but is somehow still being seen accidentally. The featureless face thing is weird, but also I've heard ideas that over time, as maybe energy fades, that could explain that. I don't know how that works or if that's the case for sure. Or it could be some other being, and again, I don't know, that is taking on the appearance of the mom. For what reason, I'm not sure. It does sound like there's general activity in the home, but yeah, I don't know how to really explain any of that, obviously, but it's really, I don't blame them for wondering if it's their mom or not. It sounds like the dreams, at least of their father, maybe visitation dreams. The ones with their mom, I don't know if those are or not. They could be, or they could just be the writer there picking up on the presence of their mom or this other being while they're asleep in sort of a dream state. Again, there's just so much that is so hard to know for sure. Not just as far as how all this works, but why, or why they're seeing this figure that looks like the mom, but never looks at them, only seen facing anyone when it's their boyfriend, and then they have the facial features. So, yeah, I really don't know what to make of that. And I just hope that everything works out, as always, with all these accounts and experiences. That is all I can do. But moving on to the next one here. We'll get at least one more in before we have to stop. Probably two more. But then again, this one looks longer. This one says, I was at a store today, and something happened that I genuinely can't explain. And I need someone to debunk this because it scared the heck out of me. I was standing at the end of the makeup aisle talking to my mom when a primer suddenly flew off the shelf. And when I say flew, I mean it flew off. It didn't just tip over or slide off. And it wasn't even sitting on a flat shelf. It was hanging on one of those display hooks that curves upward at the end a little. So products don't come off easily. Somehow it still launched off very fast, like someone threw it. There was nobody else around besides my mom, and she wasn't even close to the aisle. When I picked it up and put it back, I noticed some other makeup products swinging too. My mom also saw the whole thing. Saw the whole thing happen too. I also realized the product was one I've been wanting to try for a while, and it was pretty cheap, so I was debating getting it. But that whole thing just creeped me out so much that I ended up not buying it. And that's where that one ends. The swinging of the other products, it makes me think of some weird kind of, I don't know, vibration or weird air movement phenomenon. Not saying that it's a natural thing that happened, but also can't say it wasn't. Although if it's in a store, then it doesn't seem like it'd be a natural wind. But there are cases of wind or air movement coming from nowhere. Uh, I remember a couple of years ago or so, maybe I found a post about from this one person saying there was always this breeze or air movement going through this one room in this house that they lived in for a while, and it didn't matter if everything was all closed up or locked up or anything. There would always be this breeze moving through. Uh, I do wonder about, so if people can affect electronics with their own energy and accident unintentionally, I should say, can they also, when they're thinking about something, in rare cases, I don't know, cause uh, sort of poltergeist-like activity through some kind of air movement that they're not even aware of generating with their own energy? I'm not sure if that is possible or makes sense, but it seems like this person was thinking about this one product, like they said, so it's hard to say. Uh, yeah, I don't have a ton more to talk about on that one, I don't think, because I have no idea. But this next one is pretty short, so I'll get through this one, then we'll stop. This one says, so I was relaxing in my back patio, reading one day, when out of nowhere, a black mist appeared 12 feet away from me. The weird part was that it stayed for about 1 minute, but then it disappeared, all while I had eyes on it. The mist looked like a human-sized void. I say mist, but it looked more like a contained black smoke, but not smoke. It wasn't ominous either. I was shaken because I thought it could have been someone. It was nighttime, so seeing a human-sized figure would spook anyone out. After about a minute, I tried phoning my friend, but as I was calling, the figure disappeared. I wish I hadn't called my friend, but as I was calling, the figure disappeared. I'm not sure. I think I read that wrong. I wish I hadn't called. Maybe it would have stayed. There we go. Has anyone had a close encounter like this? I think I read a line twice there, but sorry about that. Words are hard. And I have heard of these kinds of accounts before. These darker than dark, not just shadow figures, but mists that people see sometimes that just develop. And then are a lot of times they do vanish just like that. So I don't know what they saw, but I know that they saw something. That's all the time we have for this episode. Thank you all for listening. And I'll talk to y'all next time on Salsido Paranormal. Take care.